Hi, I'm Tabitha Williams, and welcome to What's Eating Harlem. We cover the most exciting community in the world. There's so much happening in Harlem. Let's get started.
There was an opportunity that came available for a new retail space and a new hotel that's just being built in Harlem, and I took advantage of that.
Princess Jenkins, owner of the Brownstone Boutique, is still standing tall and growing. Part 2 of our coverage of Harlem Speakeasy, room 623. We were lucky enough to speak with jazz legend Shiela Jordon. And oh, does she have some stories.
I remember my a principal calling me into her office. She said to me, "You dress so nice. Why do you hang out with colored girls?" The principal of the high school.
All of that and more coming up next.
This program was made possible by JPMorganChase and Company, the Harlem Community Development Corporation, and by the West Harlem Development Corporation. Solutions through collaboration.
We're at the Brownstone, where for over 20 years, Princess Jenkins has been keeping Harlem in style. Princess Jenkins, longtime entrepreneur and owner of the Brownstone Boutique, located at 24 East 125th Street in Harlem, USA. She has braved through many obstacles, including surviving the COVID-19 pandemic, which she not only survived, but managed to expand her business. Ms. Jenkins, it's a true pleasure to be sitting here with you, and you're no stranger to What's Eating Harlem. But for those who may not be familiar with you and your fabulous work at the Brownstone, when did you open and how did that begin?
We started the Brownstone in 1998. I came to Harlem as a resident, and I would notice on Sunday mornings how fantastic the women looked. I mean, their hats, their clothing, they were out of this world. And then I started to look around for the boutiques in which they may have been shopping, and I realized that they were going outside of their community and they weren't really shopping in Harlem. So in 1998, with two partners, we started the Brownstone Contemporary Lifestyle Boutique in a turn-of-a-century brownstone, and within 3 years we had gone up 3 floors and had actually created a vision that I had a long time before opening in Harlem to create the first African-American department store. And it's in that store we had on the main floor, which would be the parlor floor of a Brownstone, contemporary clothing, accessories, cosmetics, evening wear, right? And then on the second floor we had fine jewelry, and we also opened an art gallery. And then in about a year or two we opened the third floor, where we had menswear, evening wear, bridal wear, 2 hair salons, a day spa, and interior design. And we did that for almost 10 years. And in 2007, when it was time to relocate because the building was being sold, I continued with what would be considered the parlor floor and kept the contemporary clothing, accessories, and cosmetics and evening wear. So the Brownstone today.
You covered everything, which is so amazing. As a child, had you thought of being an entrepreneur?
Well, my idea for entrepreneurship really started behind the counter of my grandparents' store. They had what would be considered a corner store or a deli today. And it was in that store that I hand-dipped ice cream, flipped the 2 burgers, 2 for 25 cents, French fries, you know, the knee-high sodas. And the main thing that I did, which was my responsibility with my granddad, was to put together the Sunday paper. So it would come in, you know, bundles, and then we'd have to put it together. And that was our bonding. But it was behind their counter where I really learned about entrepreneurship. And soon my family opened a barbecue place right next door. So every Saturday, you know, when kids were playing outside, I thought it fun to go work in my grandparents' store. So that's where I learned about entrepreneurship, and that spirit continues today. I have a daughter. We're teaching her entrepreneurship. My husband's an entrepreneur. Through my nonprofit, Women in the Black, we help entrepreneurs. I'm all about business, being in business, and helping people grow in their business.
Would you tell me what it's been for you as a Black female entrepreneur? What has that journey been like?
Well, you know what? I don't know any other journey, right? So that's the first thing. But what I do know is that African American women business owners in general are going to make less than $50,000. And that to me was a challenge, right? Not only to get past that hurdle myself and to go on and produce what I'm calling a legacy business, but to help other women understand that because that's what the general market is, that's not where you need to stay. And what are the steps to get you past that? What's going to help you grow beyond that? And what can I do to take the splinters out of the ladder so that you're not getting beat up getting up there, right? So those are the things that are important to me. So the legacy is not only to help myself and continue to grow my business as I expand, but also to help other women.
During the pandemic, Princess joined women coalitions to help Harlem business survive.
COVID-19 devastated us globally, right? So it wasn't just about me and my little business or somebody else in their bigger business. Whether you were a large business, a small business, or running a home business, we were all affected equally. The entire city shut down, and globally, the world was, someplace else. The question now is, how do we reset, right? Because we've all been, I can't even say any other word other than devastated by the pandemic. I was mortified. But it was in that moment that I found the strength not only to help myself dig out of it, but to create coalitions between other nonprofits ran by women who were focused on women to bring tens of millions of dollars to Harlem. So whether it was a phone call, an email campaign, whether it was participating by Zoom calls, we knuckled down here in Harlem and we got that money to Harlem. And it was thanks to just the coalition that we had time to build because of the pandemic, and we're all looking to do something. So yeah, it was devastating, but at the same time, it created new pathways, new strategies were built, new friendships were forged. So within the bad, there was some good that came out of it. And the Brownstone is still standing thanks to the dedication of my clients who were there with us. We were transparent about our story and the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, my husband's an entrepreneur, there was no money coming in. So donations started to come in, gift cards, anything that they could do to help me. And the sweetest one was I had a client send me $5 in a card, and she said, "Princess, just go and have some coffee on me." So whether it was the $5 donation or the $1,000 that came in from somebody who didn't even want me to know their name, it was all appreciated.
Circling back to what you said about the coalition, what type of industries did everyone cover? Is it all the same? And these are all female entrepreneurs?
They're either female entrepreneurs or they're heads of organizations who are responsible for entrepreneurs, right? So whether it was the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce, whether it was Pat Stevenson at the Harlem News, whether it was NACOA from Harlem Park to Park, like the list just goes on. We came together in a massive way. And I said, listen, in order to make this happen, we all got to ring the bell. So we did an email campaign, and before you know it, people were calling us like, okay, we're trying to work it out. What do you guys need? And Black Lives Matter also helped with that. I mean, there was just so much going on, protests in the street, people rioting. It brought out a lot. Health disparities, as the president of a nonprofit organization and responsible for women entrepreneurs, one of the things that clicked for me was that women business owners were going to have a hard time mentally, right? Loss of income. You might be in a domestic violence situation. You're losing sleep. You may have had the loss of a parent or a loved one. These were major issues. So I partnered with Health First, and they were able to come in and we produced a 9-part series on mental health for women entrepreneurs. So like I said, even though it was a tough time, we were able to build strategy and coalitions and get people help in a real way.
Well, thank you for what you've done, and thank you for looking out for everyone. But I'm still curious, what have you done to look out for you personally during this pandemic?
I think that's a great question, right? Because as women, we're all like globally looking to heal everybody. But I did look out for myself. It was a chance for me to rest, right? In addition to that, I also expanded my business during COVID. There was an opportunity that came available for a new retail space and a new hotel that's just being built in Harlem. And I took advantage of that. I had some women in my corner who were just powerhouses, right? This is when you pull out the powerhouses. in real estate and legal, and we were able to negotiate a deal. So as soon as that hotel opens on 125th Street, next door to the Apollo and the new Victoria Theater, you will see the new expanded Brownstone Boutique. So I did help myself out as well.
Congratulations,
Thank
that's
you.
so exciting.
Thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that new establishment and your growth as you continue. But first, I want to check out some of the fashions that you have here.
Absolutely, follow me.
All right. Let's talk fashion. So tell me, what do you have?
Well, no trip to the Brownstone is complete without your beautiful denim Brownstone tote bag. So not only is this 18-ounce embossed denim with a heavy strap, if you can look here, we talked about the legacy of the Brownstone earlier and the fact that we are in turn-of-a-century Brownstone. This is actually an embossed photo of the original Brownstone storefront when we were in the Brownstone. So I just love this, and people carry them. We have them in 2 sizes. My teachers love them. Anybody who has to carry anything loves them. I feel that.
Ooh.
So this is actually made from rubber.
Really?
Yeah. So the sustainability factor is also important to us. So
It doesn't feel like rubber at all.
And look how cute. Here, you take this one. This is a different shape.
Oh.
So these are the 2 shapes that they come in. Look at these little leather, again, but still a lot of room. You can put your cell phone in there, your money, your car keys. Oh, look at that pop
And
of
just
color
hang it
with what
right
you're-
off the wrist.
or what you're wearing, right?
So cute. Don me, don me, don me.
And then we bring in more color. This is our signature Brownstone clutch.
It sparkles and it's rainbow. Come on, guys.
It shines. Now this one is my all-time favorite.
I can't lie, I was looking at this as soon as I came in. Because, I mean,
Hashtag Harlem.
this is where we are.
Is that not signature?
This is the place we love. I love it.
So these are all hand beaded for us. You can also have your name put on a bag if you want. We can do that for you. But the leather tote bags are just everything.
Yeah. Princess Jenkins is a Black woman entrepreneur, still standing strong.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night. We bring the vibes here. We full of life, you keep the change, keep the change. They hate and say we went and changed. I stay the same. You must be blinded by the lights. You must be blinded by the lights, lights. Yeah, 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 yeah. From my eyes, would've thought was LSD, can't lose my mind like Kennedy, you see us cooking recipes, you hit the top, all you left with is the memories, yeah, 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 oh, yeah, 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 oh, go hard to have it, it's your
What's Eating Harlem wants to get you involved. Visit our website, www.whatseatingharlem.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like our Facebook.
I have the good blues tonight,
'cause I'm up in Harlem. I remember so many years ago when I first moved to New York City from Detroit. The first place that I wanted to go was up in Harlem.
That's right, legendary jazz singer Shiela Jordon, who at the young age of 92 is up in Harlem doing what she did so many years ago in some of Harlem's most famous clubs. Today, she came uptown to sing at Harlem's new jazz speakeasy, room 623.
Where, tell me, where has it gotten us? Everything's still so doggone humdrum.
Miss Jordon, it's a pleasure to be sitting here with you. And so tell me, when did you first come and visit Harlem?
Oh my. All the way back in the when I first came to New York.
When was that?
In the 50s, early 50s. And the spots were up in Harlem, man. And then they also had this place where you could get incredible chicken and waffles.
Where was that?
I can't remember that. Sylvia's, was it? I'm not sure, but I know that the person that brought me up here the first time to eat there was Roy Haynes, a jazz drummer.
Okay, and he brought you up and you had great chicken and waffles.
I had chicken and waffles, and that's what I would do every weekend. But they also had Mittens after hours.
Okay.
Mittens Playhouse, and then regular, and then they would have the after hours.
Now tell me, who would you come to see play?
Who didn't I see play?
Let me know.
Charlie Parker, my hero, Miles Davis, Bud Powell, when he was in his prime. When he was in his prime, nobody could touch him.
Wow.
Before he got sick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bud Powell, he was the man. Nobody played like Bud. They wouldn't, And I remember I was so fascinated by what he played. Never hit a wrong note, and he'd be go boom like that, the tempos, but hit every note. And I would ask the waiter, could you please sit me right across from the piano keys so I could see him?
See him play.
Yes.
Rain or shine or snowing, everything's still so doggone humdrum.
One of Miss Jordon's primary influences was the legendary saxophonist, Charlie Parker.
My first boyfriend in Detroit was Frank Foster. He was a great saxophone and composer, and I think he ended up taking over the Basie band after Basie passed on. I'm pretty sure. And but he was my very first boyfriend, so we lived together in a furnished room on John R. in Detroit, Michigan, and he was called into I guess it was the Vietnam War. And when he went into the Army, I moved to New York. I said, well, Frank is gone and he'll come visit in New York, but I'll go and be near Bird. I got to be near Charlie Parker's music. And that's what I did. And from that day on, I stayed in New York. And I got to meet Bird. I got very close with Charlie Parker. And he was like, as I said, my big brother. There was no romance, nothing like that at all. I did marry his piano player, Duke Jordan, which was, not an easy marriage. And Duke did not stay with us very long. I ended up having a beautiful daughter, which Duke never really saw too much, because he had the problem of drug addiction. Most of the musicians at that time thought they could play like Bird if they used dope. So they were all shooting up heroin.
And
of course they're not going to play like Bird. What? What, are you kidding?
Miss Jordon was hooked on jazz music after hearing an early Charlie Parker tune on a jukebox during a lunch break.
I had my nickel and I was going across the street to get my lunch, my hamburger, And I said, so I looked at the jukebox, and I always look, because, you know, they had like all the, you know, Cole Porter, Rodgers and Hart, all the great songs and all the great composers. And then I saw this, Charlie Parker and his Reboppers, not beboppers, Reboppers. And I said, Charlie Parker and his Rebopper, I wonder what that is. And I put my nickel in. I said, I gotta hear this, because I've never heard anything like this before. I mean, a name like that, Charlie Parker and his Reboppers, what is that? So I put my nickel in, 4 notes. Oh my God, my hair was standing up on my arm. I was so thrilled, it was thrilling. And I said, oh, that's the music I'll dedicate my life to. Whether I sing it, whether I teach it, or whether I just support it.
Shiela was a member of the vocal trio, Skeeter, Mitch, and Gene. She was Gene, by the way, and they sang versions of Parker's solos. Later, a saxophonist who worked with Charlie Parker introduced the group to Mr. Parker, and they became close friends. Tell me, what was it like meeting Charlie Parker for the first time?
I was speechless. So there was this incredible saxophone player in Detroit, and he worked with all the bands, you know, he'd go out on the road and then come back in again. He told Charlie Parker, there's 3 kids over there that sing your music. So at that time, it was me, this little white girl, singing with 2 brothers. You know, so, and Detroit was very prejudiced. It was terrible, man. I mean, terrible. You know, even in high school. I remember my a principal calling me into her office. She said to me, you dress so nice. Why do you hang out with colored girls? The principal of the high school. And I don't know where this came from, but it came from up there.
Yeah.
I said, colored? Colored? You mean red? Purple? Pink? Blue? Orange? Lilac? I love lilac. She said, get out. So she threw me out of the room.
I lost you and love you. I will tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? High as the sky. How many times a day do I really think of you?
In the early 60s, she made her first recordings, Portrait of Shiela Jordon, on Blue Note Records and on George Russell's The Outer View. One of her unique musical trademarks is her frequent changes of pitch. Tell me, while I have you here, and we know that you're going to keep singing and doing music
Absolutely.
until the day you die,
That's right.
but what would you like your legacy to be afterwards?
For the young singers coming up,
Yes.
to take it and keep it going. Keep the music of jazz alive. Because it's, as I said earlier, it's the one music that America can call its own. And it's never got the respect that it deserves. And how unfortunate. That hurts me. That pains me. That this great music of jazz and all these great players, and it's not just the African American players, there was great players like Bill Evans. He's white. There's Stan Getz. He's white. It was a common, I mean, we got along, man. This prejudice BS was not there, man. It did not exist in the jazz world because we all got along. We were colorless.
A true brotherhood and sisterhood.
That's correct. So that's my story.
we have for now. Join us next time on What's Eating Harlem. See you uptown.
This program was made possible by JPMorganChase and Company, the Harlem Community Development Corporation, and by the West Harlem Development Corporation. Solutions through collaboration. Also by the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce and Harlem Park to Park.
Give me that earth-shattering experience. I wanna feel so radiant, like I'm glowing in the dark, and I'm the envy of the stars. Yeah. Me and you taking flight on this electric ride. World sees us tonight. We're lightning bolts in the sky, flashing with thunder, and it's beautiful all over, yeah. Let me feel vibrations going through my system. Sunshine